well, as I noticed and felt all the empaths coming into the room, I knew that a lot of what I was gonna talk about, a lot of you already know and are applying, but I might divert a little bit into some specific things about being an empath that I think we forget sometimes. And empath goes hand in hand with shielding, because a lot of us who are empaths, we understand suffering, and a lot of us, because we've been gifted with these things, we have to go through suffering in order to understand other people's pain and have walked in those shoes, you know. But one of the hardest things, I think, for me, with learning about being an empath and shielding is sometimes people that we care about very much. It's not just always somebody negative out there or negative forces. Sometimes it's very difficult and complicated because it can be someone close to us in our life. Sometimes our parents, for example, my parents, when they began to understand what I was, they still didn't understand it and they didn't approve of it. They were very indoctrinated by certain religious views, which I respected, but didn't work for me. And so I had to have a period of a lot of separation, years of separation, because it was so hurtful. And I'll give you an example. When I was a child, my mother was very social. She was wonderful with flower arrangements, and everybody in our community in Greenville, Mississippi, in the Delta. The joke about that is in the Delta, there's family, school, country club, alcoholism, and affairs. That's the Delta. But anyway, one of the things that happened was when I was in the 4th grade, I was pretty, at that time I hadn't been beaten down completely, so I was kind of free spirit still. And we had share time. Our teacher would give us share time, and I decided to share one day, and I just went on and on about my sister. Oh, my sister and I, we had the best time. We play together, we just have so much fun. We went on and on and on. Well, later that evening, my teacher, she knew my family very well, she called and talked to my mother. She said, I didn't know you had a daughter. My mother said, I have a daughter. Well, about a week later, my mother found out she was pregnant. So I was already in touch with my sister on the other side, you know, having a great time, looking forward to when she was going to join me, because come be with me to help me with this awful family. I need help, you know. And so that was one of the things that sticks out in my memory, but it's difficult sometimes. And recently I had to let some friends that I've been very close to for a long time sort of fade out of my life. I know you've had that experience, many of you. Sometimes it's very painful and hurtful and hard to make them understand, but what they were doing without really realizing it, they were what I call energy vampires. They had become that. And we have to be careful sometimes, some of us who are very sensitive and we need affection and we need, you know, interaction, that we're not too needy or taking too much energy. But it became a real problem because I realized after I left, these people that we'd play a game, you know, like a card game or something, but I would feel drained. And I loved them, but I had to let them know that what I did, I think gracefully would say, I'm going through a period of introspection, I'm going through my hermit period. So it's not you, I just need more time to energize myself. But they still had some hurt feelings. But it's very complicated sometimes to deal with that. In talking about empaths, some of you have incredible abilities. Some of you already know about that. I gave a handout, it may have been too much, it's 6 pages, mainly things that I think are inspirational, that have given me inspiration for years. I refer to them sometimes to be inspired. But on the top page is a list of some of the most well-known empathic abilities and psychic abilities. I don't really care about the term psychic too much. I mean, it's fine, but I think a lot of people have a preconceived concept of that word, and it turns some people off. So I prefer extrasensory abilities, okay? But there's a whole list there. We're not going to go into all of them today because it would take way too long, but if you just scan it, some of you have these abilities. Some of you have multiple combinations of these abilities. And I hope that you're aware of them and that you won't be afraid to explore them, which we're gonna do a little bit after I speak a little more. We're gonna have an exploration type of meditation. And you may have already done this kind of thing before, but it's pretty eye-opening sometimes to realize that maybe you didn't know that you were more clairaudient than you thought. Now, I'm mainly clairaudient. I receive messages. When I was much younger, I thought I was crazy. I'm gonna check into the asylum soon, you know. But no, after so many years and experiences, you realize you get too many confirmations and validations of these messages you get. Some of you are very clairvoyant. Some of you are probably very good with precognition. Now, I've got that one strong too. I can be around someone and I just pick up past life information. For some reason, I've always done it. And it spooks people out. So I'm very careful about when I feel I should say anything or not, you know, but some of you have precognition and you'll know things ahead of time. That's a form of clairsentience. Clairsentience encompasses all of these. Clairsentience is just feeling and knowing. And sometimes people who are strongly clairsentient, they don't know, I don't know why I know that. I don't know how, but I know it. And I know it. And I'm going to go with it, because when I don't go with it, I always am sorry that I didn't go with it. These are incredible abilities. I think you should explore them. And today we're going to try to do a little of that, just to kind of elementary. We won't go through all of them. There's no way. But so I'm going to share a couple more of my experiences, because I think you can relate to a lot of them. Some of you have probably experienced far more than I have, you know, in my young 71 years. Some of you are amazing. She gave me the history of some of you and what you've done for this wonderful institution. When I walked in here yesterday with my friend Joseph, he's kind of like my assistant, and he's like having incredible openings and awakenings right now in his spiritual development. We walked in here and immediately, because I tune in immediately to spaces and environments, and we just felt peace. We felt purity and love here, and it just made me feel comfortable a lot, because I'm broadening my appearances. I've mainly been in the Jackson, Mississippi area, and, but I'm trying to expand a little bit, so I want to travel more and be able to be connected with more people. But we just love the energy here. What was funny was she has invited us, and I thought I was meeting her here in the center. Well, she had sent me her address, but somehow it didn't come through. I didn't. So we were sitting here waiting on her and enjoying it, and time, you know. And then I got a call. She's like, "Lelon." I'm like, "Danielle." She's waiting. Anyway, we got it worked out. But, anyway.
Almost 2 hours later.
Yeah, 2 hours later. We're both on sides of the town, you know. We're waiting. So anyway, another experience that I had that had to do with protection, a couple of them that stand out in my mind. Know that you're protected, and know that when you ask for it and you mean it and you're sincere, you'll receive it. And I tell people, especially people that are just opening up spiritually, don't be afraid to open yourself up to spirit world. You do have to be protecting yourself, because there's also evil. There's dark influences out there too, or influences that you're not ready to deal with, right? So, but if you call on protection and you're sincere and you mean it, because the angels told me a long time ago, don't mess with us if you're not serious, because we'll spit you out. You have, I mean, I have intense guys. If you know astrology, I have Pluto on my midheaven, and I have a stellium in Scorpio. I was born with, I'm a Libra. So, oh, he's so sweet and nice. No, you don't know all about me. I got Scorpio going on. So I dig deep, and I go deep, and I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Some of you are. Not everybody's here to do that. Some of you are prayer warriors, powerful prayer warriors. Some people are born in their lifetime, in this incarnation, to live with a white picket fence and have a family and babies and be a mommy. And that's their lessons. That's what they came here to learn. Some of us have more responsibility. We incarnated, and we've got extra responsibilities. Some of you sitting here know that. We're here to help change the world. We're here to uplift the planet, and especially now with all that's going on. The dark and light are at it, right? Just read the papers. If you want to call it Armageddon, call it Armageddon. I don't take the Bible literally all of it, but I certainly am inspired by a lot of it. And I do believe we're in a crisis time, and people like you and I, we are imperative. We are very important to help raise a vibration, to do what we can, you know. So do what you know to do to help. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be famous or so powerful. Just in your own way, be kind, you know, be open. Anyway, I first learned about when I was more adult. I moved to New York City to study opera. I've always loved music. I began studying music when I was a child. My father didn't like it at all because it wasn't manly, you know. And I would defy him. When my mother finally talked him into getting us a piano after years of me begging. And we'd have war. He'd come in from work with his briefcase, and the piano was in the dining room. He'd slam it on the table and stare at me because I'd be at the piano. And I would just look at him and play louder. Scorpio was belighting me then too. But anyway, much later on, when I was in New York and I was adjusting to culture shock because being out of the South, and then, well, I lived in LA for a year in Hollywood, and that was an experience, and I only needed a year of that. And then I moved to New York, and I went to a party. I had just gotten to New York. I went to a party one night. I was still very naive about a lot of spiritual. I studied astrology, but I wasn't into everything that I'm into now. And there was a young lady across the room, and she had a cloud. I just felt a cloud around her, you know. And she, you know, I'm so empathic. I want to help everybody. You know, at that time, I didn't know what I was doing, but I walked over and thought, I'll just talk to her, you know. And I talked to her, and kind of encouraged her about what she's going through. And she looked at me later and said, you know, I feel so much better. Thank you, I gotta go. She left. I had the headache, she told me about it. When I talked to her, now I realized, okay, light bulb went off. I was like, I gotta stop doing that like that. You know? I need to know what to do with this. So I wandered around in New York for a while, trying to figure out who I was. And I wasn't influenced by my parents or Mississippi or the South anymore. And you live in New York, it's like they say, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And I learned how to protect myself. But I found a search for a man who was a very well-known psychic, and attended his classes religiously for a couple of years. I went all the time. And the whole world, my world changed. I was like, oh, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. And so that was an awesome experience in New York. Briefly, talking about shielding and protection, not that long ago, just several years ago, I wasn't paying attention to the condition of the tires on my car. You know, so I was going to go visit a friend, and it was a rainy day, and I should have paid attention to my tires. I hydroplaned, to make a long story short, and I went into the medium, and cars coming the other way almost hit me. But I totaled my car against the concrete barrier, and it crushed me in. But at the moment it happened, because I've been praying for protection, I felt it, but I managed to find a way to get out of the car. And I walked up the embankment. Well, an ambulance was there, and all these people were there, and I just kind of wandered over and got in the crowd and they were looking at my car. I was looking at my car with them, you know. And then the ambulance person was out, and he was like, "Well, who was in that?" And I was like, "I was." He's like, "You were in that?" And he said, "We got to take you to the hospital." I said, "I'm fine." He said, "No, you couldn't be fine." I said, "Yeah, I am." And so I was like, "Thank you." But the picture of the car, I look at it now, and I'm like, you know I'm protected. And I know you're protected when you're serious about aligning spiritually with your guidance and your higher self. So, one more experience. I know you've had probably more than me, but I was walking down the street, again, I hadn't been in New York long, and I was thinking about a lot of things, and a woman was coming down the sidewalk from the other direction, just a normal day. And as I approached her, all of a sudden, I'm seeing her in medieval jewelry and outfit and around her, just the medieval times, and I'm thinking, this was before I found the psychic master that I learned from. I was like, I'm either insane, or I've got to find out what this is, and that's when I started studying it. But I know some of you had similar experiences. Now, everybody's gifted differently. Some people can develop their psychic. Everybody's psychic, potentially. Some people come in with it much more developed from other lifetimes, from other soul journeys, from whatever. But some people don't, a lot of our population doesn't understand it, they're scared of it, they don't know. And they're really, some of them go to their graves and they've never tapped into all of their resources and what they could have developed and done. So I think it's important for those of us that teach or speak to be loving and careful and sensitive to how we open up people. I try to get them to be open to this. And I'd like to hear some of your questions if we have time after our little exploration. And I'll be here later if you want to ask questions or whatever, but some of you probably know far more than I do about a lot of this. But at this time, because I know we're running out of time.
We got about 20 minutes left.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll just tell you a lot more than you.
This is trippy.
No, I think we better take time. Better take time with the exploration, because it does take a little time. So what I'd like you to do, if you would, we're not going to have music for this, but I want you to just follow the sound of my voice. And I'm not going to do a whole body meditation, relaxation for 15 minutes, but I would like you just to breathe deep and relax in your seat and close your eyes, and I'm kind of going to guide you to explore some of these extrasensory possibilities, if you would. So, and there may be sounds outside. Try to just stay with the sound of my voice. I'm a hypnotherapist too, so I try to make my voice calming and soothing. So if you close your eyes, if you will, and we're going to go through first the ability to, I call it clairtangency, or it's feeling, but it's specifically people who are gifted with touch, so that when you touch or hug, or you're even in close proximity to another person or environment, we want to explore how strong that ability is. And if it's not, it's perfectly all right. So we're going to start with that. And I'm just going to go through some phrases and let yourself react. Don't judge yourself, just let yourself react. So in terms of feeling and touch and clairtangency, the feel of silk sheets against your skin. Hot sand under your feet. "30-degree winter breeze against your face." A warm and tender hug from a loved one. A mosquito landing on your leg. The soft silkiness of a baby's skin. Stepping outdoors into the humid heat of August. So now just pay close attention to how you reacted to that. And we're moving now to the extrasensory sense of sight, clairvoyance. This can be precognition, seeing things ahead, or retrocognition, the past. But this is about your ability with sight. A splendid, glorious sunset. A colorful Christmas parade. A view from high above the Grand Canyon. Amazing fireworks. a beautiful rainbow after the rain. Bright stars in a crystal clear night sky. So just take note of how you reacted to all those images. Now we're moving to the extrasensory ability of hearing, clairaudience. Morning doves cooing at dawn. Fire engine siren. Water flowing and rippling down a mountain stream. Sounds of the state fair and amusement park. Your favorite music. The sounds of a distant train. And now we're moving to the extrasensory ability with taste. Actually, it is an extrasensory ability because it doesn't always have to do with food. Okay? A very spicy dinner entree. Your favorite dessert. Lemon. The taste of salt in the ocean air. Mustard. Chocolate. Now we're moving to the extrasensory ability with smell, or clairalience, also known as clairfaction. Fresh baked bread. Mothballs. The scent of fresh cut roses. Autumn in the air. Delightful perfume or cologne. Thanksgiving dinner. And so as you reflect on those different abilities, you can begin to open your eyes and focus on which of those that you maybe had the most strong reaction to. Because again, like for example, the sense of smell. One of my best friends who lives in Birmingham, this lady has an incredible ability with smell, and she'll smell fear. It's not just food and things, she can smell danger, you know, and she thought it was very strange until somebody helped her understand it. So we all have very different abilities. So pay attention, think about, if you didn't already know, which one of those is telling you you might have more abilities in that area than you thought. All right, and to close, I would like to talk to all the spiritual warriors in the room, and I do very fierce, intense myself invocations, and I target different things on the planet that are happening with love, but also for the highest good to happen. If that means it needs to stop in whatever way the higher forces want it to, then it stops. I'm not in control of it. I'm not the judge and the jury, but if you're a spiritual warrior or prayer warrior, you have authority over negative forces and evil. If you're being violated, or someone you love, you care about is being violated, if it's your pet, whatever it is, you have the right not to be violated. And so many people don't understand that you yourself can be an incredible force for good on the planet. You never wish anybody with invocations or ceremonies to harm them, to specifically hurt them, because you know what that is. That's bad karma for you. But you have the right not to be violated. So don't be afraid to study invocations. You can command in the name of the light. When you've been given that message, don't meddle with it if you haven't. Just be a housewife and be a good one. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy life. But you know, some of us are here and we have different missions. You know, Martin Luther King, you know, he was a warrior. You know, he was also advocate for peace, but he was going to stand up and defy if he had to. Gandhi, I have the same birthday as Gandhi, October 2nd. So I understand peace. I'm a Libra, I like peace, but don't mess with somebody that I love and violate them. I know what to do. And some of you do too. Don't be afraid of it and don't feel guilty, but never do spells. That's black magic. Don't do it, don't go there, don't. You can study it to be aware of it, but don't do it. You know, don't put spells on, I want him to fall in love with me, he's a man, you know, stop. Don't do spells to draw somebody to you. You're in trouble if you do that, okay? But you have every right to stand in authority in the light and ask for protection and to do something about it. And we need to lift the world up. And we need to, I'm so excited about all the movements happening against what's happening in our governments, and some of the most corrupt people in the world are our leaders, criminals, you know? So stand up against it, do your part, whatever that part is, and it's not minor. If you work at Taco Bell and you're kind and you lift people up, you're fulfilling a great purpose. There are no small jobs or careers, you know. So anyway, I think that pretty much ends my presentation. I'm so happy to be here. I love seeing all of you, and your faces are lighting up. I know that so many of you understand what I'm talking about, and you know probably more than I do about many of these things. But yeah, I'm going to be here if you want to talk to me later. Is my time up? Do we have time for questions or
We
no?
got 10 more minutes.
You're kidding.
No. I'm taking you
I don't know what it's good.
Encore.
Well, what if you have questions or you want to make a comment about anything that I've discussed or what you experienced in the extrasensory exploration? I would love it if you share. Please share, because it helps other people when you share what you got. It may ring a bell with them, you know. Please.
I'll start.
Okay.
With the taste.
Yes.
And I love sugar, you know, stuff like that. But, when you said chocolate, I had several different options to taste.
Okay.
I first went to milk chocolate,
Okay.
which I love,
Yes.
and then I went to dark chocolate, which I'm not a real fan of. And so there's like this distinction,
Mhm.
have a distinction in the different tastes that I think is really interesting.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you then, are you distinctive about the foods that you like and don't like?
Yeah,
Are you a fairly good cook?
I think so.
Because usually if you have that ability, you're gonna, some of the greatest chefs in the world, that's their ability, is taste, or smell, okay? People that are fantastic at coming up with concoctions of perfumes and air sprays and things like that, invent them.
Mhm.
They have a gift, you know? So you might explore that you're a better chef than you might think. You might have to develop it more, but you probably have very specific taste buds, you know?
Yeah.
So. Anybody else? Don't be shy.
Come on, people.
Oh, it was just funny because I have an extremely strong sense of smell and taste.
Okay.
Very astute, and I'm very picky because of that smell, because the
Yes.
smell affects the taste, right? But when you said your favorite dessert, my favorite dessert is lemon meringue pie.
Wow.
But then you followed it by lemon. And so when the lemon came, I wasn't being tart and you know, I mean, I'm still on the lemon meringue pie.
Cool.
Wait, go back to the
Are you aware of your astrological chart? Do you have Virgo anywhere? Did you know?
I don't have a lot of Virgo. I'm Capricorn with Scorpio moon. And Gemini ascendant.
Okay. I bet you got, you know if you have any intercepted houses or anything like that? You don't know.
I don't know. I'm not that far into it.
It just makes me curious because you have such a distinctive sense with those things. And Virgos are very specific about what they like and they don't like. So,
I have somewhere, I guess.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
This goes back to your introduction when you talked about empathy.
Empathy.
When is shielding a tool to be used, or when does it become a form of separation?
That's a good question. Now, how do you mean form of separation?
Well, you're separating yourself from all that's around you, so that you can
Sometimes.
function, so that you can function if it's really noisy.
Right.
But is that a natural state that?
I think, you know, it depends on what you're going through, what period of your life you're in. Like this friend of mine, he's going through a real spiritual awakening right now. So he's had to cloister and hermit himself right now to be able to open his gifts and not be interfered with. And he don't want to be around crowds right now. He has to shield himself a lot.
I just had an extremely powerful emotional reaction when everybody was focusing. I felt every emotion in the room, and it's just a powerful, overwhelming. It's very hard when you're going through this. It's like every noise in the world, especially when you're in a group of
That's what
like-minded vibrational people. I'm like,
well,
what
empath
is going on? You know, this
Empath
is
in
scary.
You have to get used to. It's a
Yeah.
way of life. Especially nowadays, there's
I think
so
it's
much.
like-
Just look at the papers. Look at what's bombarded at us every day with the negative. If you don't use this diet form, if you don't use, they contradict. Everybody's trying to sell, and everything's about. It seems like money and power, and it's like there's so much negative news, and so you have to. Shielding doesn't mean that you. To me, it doesn't mean I don't know what's going on.
I can tell you perspective that I just got is that, you know, you have to adjust to it. You know, once you're awakened to it, you know, there's adjustment period. You know, you have to learn how to tune it.
That's right.
Because all at once, it's everything all at once, and it's just
And shielding
overwhelming.
isn't like a concrete wall. To me, it's like a filter.
Yeah,
So I can let the good in.
but you gotta learn how to do that.
You have to practice with it, and you let the other repel.
It's
And there's
scary.
times when you need, like if I go to Walmart, I still put my shield on. I call,
Especially at
I do it, or even at a large, I can't go to like Mardi Gras. I did when I was 20 years old.
Yeah, really.
When I was 20 years old, I could go to Mardi
Target's a
Gras.
light place.
I can't deal with it like that, and I'm much older now, but it's too much, you know, and you don't want to block yourself off from the world and what's going on. So think of it maybe as a filter, and ask your guides to help you, you know, to use it to let the good and what's going to help you and others in. But if it's not good for you, like when I was counseling for years, at first, I could counsel with people, but I would take on all their stuff. By the end of the reading, they would feel, great, thank you. And I'm oh God, she's going through a divorce, and I was absorbing it. So I had to learn when and how to use shielding. And it's kind of like a flip and on-off switch too. I've been doing it for so long, it's kind of automatic, unless I go to a big crowded place, and then I take extra precautions. But it becomes automatic the more you get used to it and using your abilities. Yes, ma'am.
I can remember I was in my late teens, and my parents had been fighting for about 2 years and they were getting a divorce. And I was so upset, and I was on a bus in Baltimore, riding downtown, and I said to myself, I am not going to think about that anymore right now. And I could, and from then on, I had control over where my mind went.
You had a revelation. Yeah. And I mean, it's like, being an empath is hard. Not everybody has everybody has sensitivities. But some people, they're not very developed. You know, a narcissist, you know, I mean, they don't have that developed. Yes, ma'am. I don't know if that helped your question.
If I had something to
Somewhat.
go along
Maybe we
with
can
his
talk
question. If I had something to give along his question, back when there was, you know, they bombed in Iran
Yeah.
a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I worked on the arsenal, so pretty much as soon as I was going through the gate, I could feel it like a wall, everybody's anxiety, because we're really high on the list of like places that people would hit. I could pretty much feel everybody's stress and stuff like that, and even though everybody kind of like went about their own,
You get
it's,
tough on it, yeah.
it's a lot. So I acknowledging it and then just having the conversations with people and kind of letting them kind of say whatever they wanted to release
Right.
was helpful for letting the anxiety go.
Absolutely. Can you imagine
So
all the people
spreads
walking around in our
peace.
population that have these abilities, but nobody's ever helped them, trained them, helped them understand them, so they're confused. I was lost in my late teens and early 20s. I didn't know. Everybody was like, he's so sweet, he's the Libra, right? He's so nice. And I tried to fit in, which Libras will do that. They want to be liked. So I tried to fit in, and I never fit in, and I felt lost. And people would say, Leland, he's so sweet and nice, but he's so spaced out. I was spaced out because I had no focus with my abilities. I didn't know who I really was. So, yeah.
And selective focus is one of the skills that we really have to learn.
Discernment.
Absolutely.
Discernment, which is not the same thing as judgmentalness.
Right.
No.
Yep.
But like, well, I mean, okay. In the election thing, I had a lot of friends that kept calling me and, oh my God, we're going, we're just on our way to hell in the handbasket. And I said, you know what we need to do is still listen every day
That's
to
right.
the news, but don't immerse yourself.
That's right. Be aware of what's going on. I just look at the headlines and I'll go, okay, that's a delete, that's a delete.
Okay,
That's
that's my news
important.
for today, now let me see what else.
Yes, that's right. That's right, because it's too overwhelming for empaths and a lot of the population. It's just, yeah. Yes.
I view it as like a cell. So in your body, you have cells. They each have operation and they have function. A cell can determine what it allows in and what it allows out.
Mhm.
A cell can clean what it allows in. And a cell can be affected by the cells around it.
That's right.
So surround yourself with those who also have a similar light and being about them. And different cells come together to form organs, if you
And
will.
you just touched on a major
So-
point, which is
Absolutely.
we need to try to resonate with others that match our own frequency. And that's the difficult thing. Sometimes people we
That
love
is
just don't match
very
us
important.
anymore. And,
Cellular
but it
manifestation.
brings you down. You know, you can be loving about it, but you have to make boundaries and maybe spend so much time with those people. I mean, I spend some time with my brother. He's a Billy Bob. You know, I mean, I'm not, and it's like, he doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and he thinks it's far out, but I love my brother, but we're just from different planets, really, literally. But, so you have to discern exactly what you said.
I wanted to say, how do you not shut off? Give yourself permission, if you would, to put that cell barrier up where it can flow, but it can be permeable when you allow it. Going in nature and getting away from human beings sometimes can be actually a distance thing for me. So I will find myself when I'm very needing a filter, I go out in nature in a further space and I connect to those beings as far as, and I'm still aware of what beings are around me, but a tree typically is a really good cleaning energy.
That's right.
And it is one that can filter your cell if you're finding yourself closing off. Start with a tree out in the
That's
middle of
right.
the woods and allow yourself.
That's a cellular, that's cellular, you're manifesting cellular change. That's what that is, and it's crazy, and it's
It's
you think you're crazy, but it's real.
We had to
It's
get,
like-
we had to get him, Joe, out and walk in the grass the other day, because he's been doing all this spiritual, I'm opening and I'm getting messages, and
and it was too much.
he wasn't grounded, so we got him out and walked in the grass, and he immediately felt better. And it sounds simplistic and silly, but it works, you know, so that was great.
And also, when you go through that transformation, there's a cellular change, and you
And
have
the
to
labyrinth.
address that as well.
Take advantage of the
I mean, your
labyrinth.
body has to catch up.
Take advantage of coming here and grounding yourself by being with other people that resonate and vibrate with you, right? So, I'm done, and thank you so much.
Now that you know where we live.
Yes.
Not just here, but
Well,
our
the
home.
funny thing is that I was checking my website not long ago, and it's called the Center of Light. I chose that name, no, I didn't, my guides gave it to me many years ago, like 1980. Center of Light. I was like, okay, I love that. And then I was checking my website recently, and I looked at mine, and right under it was the Center of Light in Huntsville. I said, Huntsville? The Center of Light? Somebody else? And then I found one that's the Center of Light in Kansas. There's a Center of Light in Tulsa. There's a Center of Light in Seattle. They're all different from mine, but
So bring on the light.
that's right.
At this time, if you have any offering to give to the center to keep this center going, we appreciate all your gifts. And if you would take your offering, place it between your hand chakras, bless it, and charge it with whatever it is that you need at this moment. And then send it on to do its spiritual work here at the center. Well, Nancy, would you give us our offering?
The light of Christ flows through us as we give and receive God's blessings of prosperity and abundance.
And in the songbook, while that's going around, in the songbook on page 28, it's a beautiful song called I Am Love. And you don't really need the songbook actually because it's very simple.
I am love, 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 pure love, I am love.
Can you feel it? All of us
Oh, yeah.
empathic people feeling people. Feel the love, the joy, the peace that we have created in this sacred space. And I appreciate everybody for being here. And I'd like to do a touchy-feely song. It's called Reach Out and Touch on page 56. And if you can and are willing to reach out and touch your neighbor here in this room.
What page is it?
56. 56. Reach out and touch a soul that is hungry. Reach out and touch a spirit in despair. Reach out and touch a life torn and dirty, a man who is lonely. Oh, I never listened. If you dare, reach out and touch a neighbor who hates you. Reach out and touch that stranger who hates you. Reach out and touch the brother who needs you. Reach out and let the smile of God touch through you. That's it. While she's finishing playing, that's okay. Oh, thank you for your gifts. We appreciate blessings on each one here. Thank you for being here, and I'm going to return the flames with love. Return these flames with love and appreciation. May they remain lit, the essence and the intention of these qualities to remain with you throughout the week. Mother, center of light, Uncle Michael, third ray, active intelligence and matter. The diamond platinum ray, may it remain with you as long as needed. And our brothers and sisters who are empathic. We all are. And our friends and family across this planet. We appreciate you all. You're welcome to stay and talk more with Leland. We do have an appointment at 1 o'clock, right?
That's right. We'll have
So,
I have to leave a little before 1.
you're right. So we have a little bit of time to sit and talk. You can have a cup of coffee. Stay with us if you'd like. Thank you for being here. Really, I see some old faces and some new faces. Really appreciate y'all coming today. Thank you so much. Thank you.